What makes a person boring? When they only talk about other people, like talking shit about people is their only personality. Agreeing with everything you say but never offering anything unique. Talking about nothing but themselves. Alternatively, saying nothing about themselves. Having their personality centered around one single thing, and only that thing. I'm gay, and the worst kind of gay person is the one that everything in their life is about being gay. It's so fucking boring. I get it. You're gay. I'm gay too. Gay rights are important. Yes. The same sex is hot. I agree. Drag Race is a fun show, yep. But learn an instrument, or read a book or something FFS. This exactly for me too. That, and my pothead friends will only ever talk about smoking, before work, during, or after. It's all they do or look forward to. I enjoy it too, but my gosh, do something else. Having zero interests outside of work. What about having zero interest in work? That would describe me. What if your work is so many random things it's hard to explain, and when you do it sounds like you're a crackhead building shit to contact aliens? Then they ask the question, well, what exactly is your job title? And it's honestly like 7 words long that describes 1/10 of what you actually do. When they agree with everything you agree with, you need to have your own opinions. I totally agree with you, dude. This salad is excellent. I hate this restaurant and I hate your stupid face, Sally. No sense of humor. Is this supposed to be a joke or something? 'Cause I'm not laughing. My dad used to always say this. If you're bored, you're boring. I used to hate it, but there's some truth that the people in this world who are interesting are people who can find wonder in any situation. Relying on other people to make all decisions. I think I should upvote this. Should I? I don't know, you tell me. Not being able to have a meaningful conversation. I sometimes struggle with this. There are people I can talk to easily, without seemingly running out of things to say, ask. But if I feel I'm the one who has to initiate, I tend to get really wrapped up in my head about what to ask, say next, and then assume the other person must think I'm dull 'cause I can't chit-chat like a regular person. Then I see other people who can talk to anyone about anything and I'm like, was I sick the day they taught the talking like a normal person class at school? Not recognizing when no one is interested in what they're talking about. This skill is one of the worst to learn, because you were always telling something you were excited about, and realized no one else cared. Not being passionate about anything. I'm passionate about being unpassionate. Honestly, a lot of it comes down to storytelling. I remember listening to one of my cousins tell a story, and I realized it was super boring, but I was super interested, so I started paying attention to the way she tells stories. I like to think people are more interested in what I have to say now. But also I've had a pretty fucking crazy life so far, so there's a lot to talk about. When they don't ever do anything spontaneous, and act as if anything different, unique is weird and embarrassing. Oof. This is the first one that's really got me. Also, nothing worse than someone asking or expecting me to do something out of my comfort zone like karaoke or dancing. The second you want me to do it, it creates this imaginary pressure to me, and even if I might do it on my own, I definitely won't now. I get embarrassed way too easily at things that no one would consider embarrassing. No sense of humor, and or sense of adventure. We all love a humorous adventurer. If you have utterly nothing in common with them, chances are you bore them just as much as they bore you. Tends to happen most with friends of a friend. A bore is someone who deprives you of solitude without providing you with company. Oscar Wilde. No creativity. No original ideas. Everything is predictable. People with no hobbies, skills. I remember always struggling to answer those questions, what are your hobbies, and in hindsight, I was just super dull and barely living. You're boring if you don't post naked selfies on Reddit. Spending every bloody second of every minute of their life on Facebook. When the only thing you have in common to talk about is schoolwork. This isn't the only thing, but being so apathetic that you never express a real opinion or initiate a conversation activity. The guy who says, I guess I like all music, or its variation, everything but rap and country, if you ask what music he likes. The guy who says, IDK, I don't really follow politics, If you mention literally any current event, no matter how apolitical. The guy who always says, "Whatever you want to eat is fine." The guy who watches the TV in a trance when a football game is on, but doesn't get excited if his team is winning or losing because, I don't really follow sports. The guy who has no favorite books or movies or video games, who doesn't have any hobbies aside from playing the same video game or drinking the same beer at the same bar. The guy who's never got anything to say, positive or negative, about anything around him. Everything and everyone are fine. He kind of likes stuff, I guess, in that he doesn't particularly hate it, but you also don't know if he is capable of hating anything because he never branches out of a narrow range of basic things. Or if he does, it's never, "Wow, that's for introducing me to that, I like it," or, "OMG, never exposed me to that, it's awful." You show him a movie that doesn't star Adam Sandler or involve explosions, and it's, "IDK, it was kinda weird, I guess, haha." This guy likes to paint himself as easygoing, chill, and lacking drama. But in reality, he is boring. He confuses a lack of tension with positivity. This doesn't mean that liking music, books, politics, sports, movies, or drama makes one interesting, but it at least gives a person something to talk about. If everything is, IDK fine, the ability to converse, connect, and expand is dead. I wish I could say that most of these guys are heavy stoners and are just too high to be expressive, but I have met plenty that have never touched a drug in their life. I'm not describing someone with depression, which this type of person could be depressed. What I'm describing isn't being depressed. Symptoms of depression have context, and simply being tedious to be around doesn't mean a person is depressed. Someone who has just never branched out of the routine of consume what's popular just because it's popular, and never rock the boat, doesn't need to be depressed to be that way. I'm also not describing social anxiety, fear of conflict, or introversion. Those things also don't make a person interesting. Further, someone who fears conflict enough that they never express even the mildest opinion is not only boring, but they're extremely stressful to be around, so that isn't a good thing. I might be describing someone who is a shit conversationalist, but that doesn't make them not boring. If someone like this secretly has all kind of deep interests that they never share because us plebs would never get it, that doesn't make them not boring. That makes them both boring and a snob. Not caring about one, or several, of these topics does not make a person boring, so stop asking for validation. It's not caring enough about any subject that makes a person boring. Closed-mindedness. If you can't appreciate a different lifestyle, opinion, belief, etc. because yours in the right one, then I can't hold a conversation with you for more than 30 seconds. Yeah, but you can't really say that's boring. That's just not vibing. I saw a guy on Memory TV discussing if gays should be thrown off buildings or set on fire. I don't agree with him, but fuck, he ain't boring. People whose only activity in life is smoking weed and drinking alcohol, talking about smoking weed and drinking alcohol, talking about how high or drunk they were, and wondering when the next time it is that they will smoke weed or drink alcohol, while also being very loud about all of it, in public, in front of anyone. Not wanting to do anything. I'm quite a boring person. I'm very talkative and have interests and hobbies that most other people don't have or can't relate with, so when I talk about them, and in my mind I'm being very passionate, the other person listening is getting bored to death, especially because I'm very old school, so most people perceive my interests as mom granny things, which just adds to the lame boring vibe. Also, I am not comfortable being silent, and sometimes keep talking for the sake of it. This one gets so boring even my boyfriend admits sometimes he gets sleepy listening to me talk like that. People who talk at length about people I don't even know. My sister-in-law has been telling stories about her grandpa for 20 years. I've never met him. They aren't funny stories, just things he used to say, do, etc. Boring is subjective. What's fun for me is boring to you, so don't come at me and say me playing video games and watching anime is boring, as that's what I like. If their identity is rooted in rejecting things they dislike, instead of embracing things they like, it makes a person small, unidimensional, and disconnected from the world. Have you ever noticed how, when people communicate their unpopular opinions, it's always something they dislike? Disliking things has become a trend, because by disliking something you risk absolutely nothing. By embracing something unpopular you do, and you actually become an individual. What makes a person boring? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.